Folklore Bali Indonesia. The origin of Singaraja. Once upon a time on the island of Bali, in the Kelungkung area, there lived a king who had the title Sri Sajaning. He has quite a lot of wives. The last wife named Nilu Paske. Nilu Paske comes from Panji village and is a descendant of Kiai Paske Gobleg. But the unfortunate fate of Nilu Paske, when she was pregnant, was gently banished from the palace. She was married to Kiai Jelantik Bogel by her husband. His sadness was somewhat lessened by the sincere love of Kiai Jelantik Bogel. After the time came, she gave birth to a son who was named Igusti Gede Pasaken. A baby named Igusti Gede Pasaken is getting bigger and bigger every day. As an adult, he has a big prestige in Galgal city. He was very much loved by community leaders and ordinary people. He is also loved by Kiai Jelantik Bogel like his own son. One day, when he was 20 years old, Kiai Jelantik Bogel called him. "My son," said Kiai Jelantik Bogel, "now go to Den Bukit in the Panji area." "Why should I go there, father?" "My son, that is the place where your mother was born." "Very well, father. I will go there." Before leaving, Kiai Jelantik Bogel said to his son, "Igusti, bring these two powerful weapons, namely a keris named Ki Baru Samang and a spear named Ki Tunjung Tucha. Hopefully you will be safe." Quote, "Yes, father." On this trip to Den Bukit, Igusti Gede Pasaken was accompanied by 40 people under the leadership of Ki Dumpiung and Ki Kadasot. After 4 days of walking, they arrived at a place called the Menyan Rock. There they spent the night. That night, Igusti Gede Pasaken and his mother were closely guarded by his companions in turn. In the middle of the night, suddenly the forest-dwelling supernatural beings came. With ease, Igusti Gede Pasaken was lifted onto the shoulders of the supernatural being so that he could see the view beyond the ocean and land that lay before him. When he looked to the east and northwest, he saw a very distant island. Meanwhile, when he looked towards the south, the view was blocked by a mountain. After the supernatural being had disappeared, he heard a whisper. "Igusti, actually the area that you just saw will become your territory." Igusti Gede Pasaken was very surprised to hear this magical voice. But he also feels happy. Isn't that voice a sign that one day he will get a noble position, become the ruler of a large area? Indeed, to achieve glory, people have to go through various hardships first. He told what he had heard magically to his mother. His mother encouraged him to continue traveling. The next day, Igusti Gede Pasaken's group continued the journey, which was full of obstacles. Although this journey was difficult and far away, they finally managed to reach the destination safely. One day when he was in his mother's village, there was an exciting event. There is a Bugis boat stranded on Panambangan beach. At first the Bugis asked fishermen for help there, but they were unable to free the boat, which ran aground. The captain of the Bugis boat was desperate, but the elders of the fishing village approached him. "Only one can help, sir. Sir, just tell me, who can tow a marine boat?" A young man, but powerful and authoritative boat, replied the village elder. "What is his name?" "Igusti Gede Pasaken." The next day the Bugis came to Igusti Gede Pasaken. He said, "We look forward to your help, sir. If you succeed in lifting your boat, we will hand over part of the boatload to you as a reward." Quote, "If that is indeed your promise, sir, I will try to lift the boat aground," answered Igusti Gede Pasaken. To release the large boat that ran aground, Igusti Gede Pasaken issued 2 heirloom weapons from Kijelantik Bogel. He concentrated his thoughts. Not long after that, 2 spirits appeared from the 2 heirloom weapons. "Sir, what should I do? Help me drag the ship that ran aground to the high seas." "Yes, sir." With the help of the 2 spirits, he managed to drag the boat with ease. Other people were clearly unable to see the presence of the spirit, they only saw Igusti Gede Pasaken moving his hands pointing towards the boat. Because of his joy, the Buganese kept his promise. Among the prizes given were 2 large gongs. Because Igusti is now a rich man, he is known as Igusti Panji Sakti. Since that incident, the power of Igusti Panji Sakti began to spread and spread everywhere. He also began to establish a new kingdom in the Den Hill area. Approximately in the middle of the 17th century, the capital of the kingdom was called by the name Sukasada. As the day progresses, the kingdom is expanding and developing, and the new kingdom is established. It is located a little north from the city of Sukasada. Before it was made a city, the area was overgrown with buleleng trees. Therefore, the center of the new kingdom was called Buleleng. Buleleng is the name of a tree whose fruit is very popular with turtle doves. At the center of the new kingdom was established a magnificent palace, which was named Singaraja. The name indicates that its inhabitants are a king who is like a mighty lion. This is because Igusti Panji Sakti is indeed known as a powerful and brave figure. If a gang of pirates or robbers messed up, the king would also go to the battlefield with his soldiers, because it was fitting that his palace was called Singaraja. There are also those who say that Singaraja means the king's resting place. It is said that when his palace was still in Sukasada, the king often stopped there. Thus, the word Singaraja comes from the word Singaraja. The legend of the origin of the city of Buleleng and the city of Singaraja is believed by the Balinese people to have actually happened. Abu Panji Sakti comes from the Sudra caste, which is the lower class of Hindu Balinese society. This is very interesting, because someone who comes from a low class can become a person who has a high and noble position because of his hard work and efforts to achieve his goals.